You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim! Climb the ladder, kid! Make yourself famous!
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. And my co-host this evening is my good friend Ian Garavalia. What's going on, Ian?
Well, I'm about to say something, and I know I've been playing a character in quote. Obviously, I'm not very happy. Kayfabe's dead. I had my car keyed today, and yet I'm still here. All right, I do it for you people and myself, my own mental sanity. So I'm ready to talk some pro wrestling today, Gags.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Was it, I think, last night or maybe this morning, about this is the one of the few bright spots we have to look forward to, because obviously we're all adults now. We're working 5 days a week, living the American dream, I guess. But, there's not a lot that goes into this. We just get to talk professional wrestling with other marks, and we enjoy the hell out of it, don't we, Ian?
Yeah, always on the mark. It gives me something to look forward to every single night, just to watch wrestling, just to be able to talk about it during these nights and just interacting with you guys. But yeah, sorry for the little, that was a little touching there. But let's talk some pro wrestling, because
we are.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say we are going to talk some pro wrestling. I didn't mean to cut you off or anything. I did notice, though, that I sent out a tweet that says this is episode 167. It is not. It is episode 168, and we are doing it an hour ahead of time. So we appreciate you all for interacting with us live here an hour early. But before we introduce our very special guest who will be joining us for our Crown Jewel preview and predictions, we got to tell the listeners that we have a discount code this week on the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. If you use promo code CROWN, CROWN, very simple, you will save 10% off of your order. You can get yourself a sweatshirt like I'm wearing right now. You can't get this hat, but Ian, tell them a little bit about what else they can get at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com.
Well, it was first snowfall here. Saw snow the first time. So, what would be perfect for that would be, well, first off, we have a new holiday ugly sweater that you can get with the OTM logo just right on there, because we all have to go to Christmas parties, whether we like to or not. So might as well rep the brand, because I will be doing that. I bought 2 already, and I don't buy a lot of merch. I'm a poor boy. But also, that's not it. If your ears get cold, head gets a little cold, maybe you have the hair of Gags and not a lot of coverage up top, you could get yourself a nice little ball beanie hat with the OTM logo right in the front, too. It's got a little fuzzy ball and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So go to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Like I said, use code CROWN and you will save 10% off of your order. And you can also get some Main Event Network merch at that merchandise site, because we are a part of the Main Event Wrestling Network. We are just slowly growing here. We're creating content on TikTok. We got some YouTube videos, and we got a blogger that has something in the works. I have had conversations with Scott, so be on the lookout for stuff. Make sure you give us a follow at mainevent_net to check out all that good stuff. And Ryan Vogus is going to ask, is Ian wearing a puka shell necklace? You want to show off what you got there?
Yeah, it was a good week at the casino last week and this weekend. Lost a little bit, but I was able to get myself a $5 chain, which was pretty cool. It makes me, it's really, really icy, as the kids call it.
As the kids would say.
Yeah, chill.
Yeah, I see. You're so hip, Ian. I wish I was as young as you. But hey, let's get to, I guess, the main event here and our special guest. You have seen him before on this podcast. You probably watched one of his YouTube videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Steve from the SCW Wrestling Channel. What's going on, Steve? You're muted. Hold on. We'll get you there. Go. He's got to find the unmute button. That's all right. This is what happens when you do it live. Yeah, I think we got some technical difficulties going on over there. But Ian, while we're waiting for Steve to figure things out over there, you got anything new going on in your life? What have you watched this week in professional wrestling?
Not a lot. I watched, and actually, we could take this time to talk a little bit about AEW last night because that was like the one show that I watched a little bit more of. I didn't really get to catch NXT this week, sadly. Like I said, Tuesdays are tough to watch live, and wasn't able to watch yesterday. But I did get to catch some glimpses of AEW. We had breaking news today.
Yeah.
Ric Flair signs for a multi-year deal. Obviously, we have no idea what that entails, if that's in-ring, if that's backstage working, or just personnel. But it's something, and a lot of people do not like it. I am impartial because it all depends on what they plan to do with Rick, but it's Ric Flair in AEW. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's a questionable move, in my personal opinion. I gave a little bit of my thoughts on the Main Event Network's TikTok, so if you want to go check that out, you know the social media handles. But I think we got it all figured out. Let's see if Steve is with us. Steve, are you there?
Let me talk to you. I'm in the house, finally.
Steve, how the hell are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me on the channel. It's great to be back once again. I don't know, if something went wrong with headphones, and then all of a sudden I fixed that, and then the mic went out. I don't know what happened there, but we're back together. Let's talk some pro wrestling. It's great to be back on with OTM.
Yeah, I've been on Steve's channel probably 3 or 4 times. It's always a joy to go on there. Ian, we're going to have to get you on the SCW Wrestling Channel. Steve, can we make this happen?
Absolutely.
I would love to. I would like to branch out a little bit more. Getting a little tired of OTM, honestly. Honestly, if you give me a nice little contract, I might be able to get a new necklace, new chain. I could buy people, but we'll talk about that in the DMs. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Let's run to the comment section before we get to our predictions. Vogus said that he loves that Ian is going through the heavy casino phase I went through at 22. That's funny. Dirk says, evening. Sorry, I wanted to make sure my sloppy joes weren't burning. Hey, you got to keep an eye on the sloppy joes. Everybody likes some extra sloppy, Dirk. So thanks for stopping by. Robbie Collins in the house. He said, hello, guys. Hope you're well. We are doing fine. And Steve, it looks like you got some chance in a yeah from Robbie.
Gotta love it.
And Dirk's a big fan of the accent. Steve, some of our listeners might not know where you're from. So why don't you reintroduce yourself to the audience, if you don't mind?
I appreciate it. Yeah, with this British accent that you're hearing right now, you can find it on YouTube. In fact, under my score handle, the Twitter handle, SCW_Steve, and then the YouTube channel is SCW the Wrestling Channel. I'd like to talk things WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Pretty much, if there's a topic about wrestling and you want to talk about it, I'm prepared to give my voice and my opinion on it as well. So, yeah, if anyone wants to go and check a video out, make sure to go and do so. Like you said, Kyle, you've been on videos in the past. Ian, definitely need to get you on videos in the future as well. And I've got to say very quickly, it's great to be doing a video with Ian as well at this time, because obviously I've done video with you, Kyle, before. Erica was here the last time I was on the channel. Ian now this time. It's only Jim Tucker away, and then I've got the full set, you know, the collect all 4. That's pretty much what's missing from my cereal box. So hopefully for the next time we can do one with Tucker.
I did not know that you haven't done a podcast with Tucker Ian before. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Huh. Smart. We got to make it happen, I guess, right, Ian?
Yeah, like I said, I had the bad news earlier today, and I still showed up because I got to talk to Steve. This is your first time, I'm pretty sure. I might have showed in like live. I might have tuned in just to watch while you were on the channel before, but yeah, we've never talked in person, so yeah.
So let's talk about Crown Jewel happening this Saturday. Then it's happening at noon where we're at here in the Central Time Zone. What start time would it be for you over there, Steve?
So, right, at the moment, I'm in Sweden, so I believe we would start at 7 p.m. I believe for those in the UK, it will start at 6 p.m.
Oh, so it's basically like a normal American start time then?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Not too bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, I always ask this to Erica Marini if she's not here. Steve, where's your excitement level right now for Crown Jewel?
So if I was going out of 10, I feel like this show, like when you look on paper, the matches look pretty decent. So from that, I go with an 8. I think there was 1 or 2 special ingredients that could make this show higher to a 9 or a 10. But obviously that goes into the fantasy booking realm, which I'll save for when we start talking about the matches themselves. But right now, I'm probably sitting at a solid 8.
I just want you to know, Steve, if you didn't already know, I am the OTM PLE champion. So I would appreciate it if you acknowledge me right here, right now, because I'm going to defend my title, whatever it takes. There it is, everybody.
There's the support. There it is.
See, Steve might be a member of the House of Gags. We don't know. We might have my people talk to his people, and we'll find out. But since I am the champion, I'll go first here. We actually have a pre-show match, which is something we haven't seen recently, and it is between JD McDonough and Sami Zayn. Obviously, this is going to be a very cool moment. The last time Sami Zayn showed up in Saudi, it was the first time that he appeared there. This is being his second match. I think it's going to be a fun opener here on the kickoff, but it obviously has to be Sami Zayn going over in this position. If JD won, I would be very surprised, but if JD does win, yeah, I feel like he's got to be a shoo-in for the Judgment Day because we know he's not an official member right now, but my pick's going to be Sami Zayn in this one. Ian, what about yourself?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, obviously on paper, you're immediately thinking of Sami Zayn. He's got to build some momentum back after his little spell. He's away from Kevin Owens now. He needs to build something. He needs to have something going. And I'm liking the narrative that he's trying to push, that he has to work and he's going to fight the authority. He's kind of got that authority fight going on with the Judgment Day. So haven't seen that in a little while. Obviously going Sami Zayn, but again, I would not be upset with the JD McDonough win. I think that could be huge, especially on the heel side. I mean, you're beating Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia, but it depends on what you do with him in Judgment Day, because obviously now he hasn't been doing much besides just ruining Judgment Day.
I'll tell you what, he's selling very well. I know that doesn't account for anything in kayfabe, but to me personally, watching it, that is my biggest takeaway from JD McDonough. Steve, I'm going to assume you're going with Sami Zayn in this one.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense. It's kind of cool. Obviously, Sami was the big attraction for the last time that WWE went to Saudi Arabia. Sami was the main event. Wasn't really booked into a high-profile match this time round. Obviously, I was told that actually Sami and JD McDonough have had 2 matches previously, which are Monday Night Raw, and they both have 1 win each. So going to this is technically a rubber match. It's not quite the trilogy level you'd imagine with, I suppose, a Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes from NXT this past week. But still, this should be still a fun match. Being on the pre-show, it should get time. But guys, I agree with you. It makes the most sense. Is Sami going over? You need to start off with on the right positive note, and the Sami win does that.
Now, I think you might have proposed this question on your predictions, Steve, but let me reverse it and ask you right now. Would you like to see the pre-show matches become a thing anymore? Because like I said, we haven't seen them in a while.
Actually was not mentioned, or not from myself anyway. Perhaps NXT may have been talking about it. But what I would say is, for me, I have this feeling where I like it because obviously the one PLE I went to a couple of years ago in the States, there was a kickoff match, and I thought to myself, that's good. It hypes the crowd up. I see the benefit of the live experience. But being the lazy viewer at home in my armchair, I know that I've not got to sit through the conversations for an hour to just find one match. So for me, I'm more preferable just to having the main show and knowing I don't have to tune to the kickoff if I don't want to. So if I had the choice, I would say no kickoff match. However, I think this is going to be a good experiment to bring it back again. And like I said, it's good for athletes that can't get on the main show, and usually it means they get a bulk of time. I imagine this match will go at least 10 to 12 minutes probably, which maybe if they're on the main show, they probably only get about maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely going to benefit them being on the pre-show. That's a good shout. But Ian, we're going to go to you here first for this match. We have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, taking on Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. Now, this matchup was kind of thrown together, I believe, just this week on Monday Night Raw. So not much build to it. Obviously, Cody's been messing around with the Judgment Day as a whole. But Ian, where do you stand on this one?
See, this is one of the ones that I think could go either way. And that might be a bold take, but really, what does that do for Cody if he gets a win over Damian Priest? I mean, it gets him some momentum, but obviously in the back of our minds, it's all about the bloodline for Cody Rhodes, and WrestleMania is coming up. I mean, it is sneaking up, especially the WrestleMania season. I mean, but they really could turn the key towards a bloodline at Royal Rumble when we get there. Because obviously right now, Cody Rhodes has nothing to do with the bloodline. It's all about the Judgment Day and fighting against that Raw. So I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes here. I think that's a smart pick. But again, Damian Priest with that briefcase still. I don't know what's happening. There's a lot to be cleared. because I know we're still in that little fall season in WWE, which tends to be kind of like it's really subtle.
It's more
with what
relaxed.
they're doing. Right. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna trust the process and see where they go from here. But I'm going Cody Rhodes.
Steve, you gonna agree with Ian here?
No. I'm going to go bold. Going very bold here. Going off the storytelling that we've seen, obviously, it's been going on for a while. We know, obviously, with Cody and Damian Priest. Obviously, it's gone through the last PLE with the tag team titles. Obviously, Cody and Jay winning them. They lost them immediately on Raw afterwards. But with everything with Judgment Day and their rivals, it feels like it's been going on for a while. And I think I try not to mention it in the last match, but I think we have got a long-term goal here, or the long-term goal perhaps being another few weeks, Survivor Series and War Games. I think we're going to get the Judgment Day. I think Cody will lead a team into battle, into War Games, a match that his father made famous, of course, back in NWA in the 80s. So I can see here that Priest, it makes more sense to have the heat, because if he gets the win, there's actually a need for Cody to want to get revenge. And I think with the idea of the Judgment Day, looking strong from this show, I think it'll be a good thing going forward, because if you look at the opener, which I mentioned a minute ago, JD McDonough, no one helps him. He does the helping because he's not an official member of the group, so he can take the L. But for me here, Priest, he was called out as being the background guy, the bodyguard, Cody more or less said, you're not the dominant guy, you're taking orders in this group, where Priest didn't like that. And I think Priest will come out of this show with a victory in some format. If it's not in this match, it'll be later on. And I'll discuss that when we get to later on, but rather than now. But I think Priest needs to come out of this event looking strong. And the fact that we don't know if he'll cash in or not, I think that a victory for Priest makes the most sense, in my opinion here. It's bold, because on paper, Cody wins 99 times out of 100, but I'm predicting this might be that 1 out of 100.
I see where you're coming from here. Ian, you got some thoughts on what Steve was saying?
Well, you saying it's a bold pick. I don't think it's a bold pick at all. I genuinely think this could go any way. I think there's a lot of story to be said about this match and where you go with the whole Judgment Day on Raw, just kind of enforcing. I love that whole idea, and I like the idea of the War Games match. Obviously, that's been in the back of people's minds as well, because it's kind of like Cody's side has just been a mismatch of everybody. I mean, Sami Zayn, main event Jay, and Cody. That's really the big three right now. Yeah. So I'd like to see where it goes. So I don't hate the Damian Priest pick at all. That's why I was saying I'm going between the two.
Man, I think your reasoning makes a lot of sense, but for me, this one seems to be one of the more obvious matches on the card. I feel like Cody Rhodes has to win this because, like you said, Ian, that we are ultimately leading up to Cody and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So you got to keep Cody hot for now, and I think Damian Priest losing is fine because he has that Money in the Bank briefcase. We see it all the time. Whoever holds that briefcase stacks up L's because they still have the insurance policy right by their side. So I think if Priest loses here to Cody, it does no harm to him. I believe he's still one half of the tag team champions, correct? The Judgment Day?
Yes.
So he's got that too. So him losing here, I think, makes total sense. So I'm going to have to disagree with Steve here. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes to win this one. And maybe that leads to something later. Stay tuned for that one, people. But this next matchup, I'm actually really excited for, and it is for the United States Championship. Obviously, that championship is around the waist of the legendary Lucha Rey Mysterio. He's had a pretty solid reign so far. I thought eventually that they were going to lead to Santos and Rey having another match for the title, but that isn't obviously a part of the plans, as we got Logan Paul here getting his first title opportunity in the second title opportunity in the WWE. We know he faced Roman Reigns in the past. Steve, is now the time to pull the trigger and switch the title here?
Yes. In the short answer, yes. The reasons for it, I think, is the same obvious reasons with all the other things we said with Logan Paul. The outside media appeal. Obviously, you think about him taking the United States Championship, he could be on his Impulsive podcast. He goes to all these boxing events to support his brother. He does it himself sometimes. Influencer boxing, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But he does other appearances. He does Prime as well, obviously, which is a big popular drink.
Huge.
Going marketing, huge all around the world. Probably going to be a lot bigger than Woo Energy for a long time to come as well. But I had to get my Ric Flair jig in there. At the same time, we discussed this on my channel yesterday, and NXT, who does the shows with me, suggested the idea of a custom-made Logan Paul United States Championship. And I think that could be a mega sell for WWE Shop if they were to do that. I think they would make the sales with the belt anyway on WWE Shop as marketing and great for the brand. But I mean, to have like a red, white, and blue sort of style Logan Paul, maybe Prime United States Championship. Think of like the Ice Pop version, for example.
Yeah.
That could kind of work pretty well. So yeah, I think that Logan Paul makes all the sense in the world here to win that championship. And I do think low-key, this could be match of the night because Ray can still go. Logan Paul impresses each and every time. And if the only negative by Logan Paul winning is Roman isn't around all the time. We know that Logan Paul perhaps would not be around all the time. What championship would you be fighting for? Well, currently, it means it's more open for the Judgment Day to come to SmackDown because those tag team titles would be the things to fight for. Could it be an excuse to split those tag team titles? That could be a good thing for the SmackDown brand at last. But I think for me, Logan Paul makes the most sense. I think it will create more friction with Santos and Rey Mysterio because Santos never really... He got his one-on-one match, but there was a bit of shenanigans involved in that match that didn't make it fully clean on the finish. I think that we will see the breakup later down the line of LWO, but it's going to be a slow burn. And I think Logan Paul will remain United States champion until WrestleMania 40, where he will be losing to somebody. But let's just say, I'll be giving away one of my results if I was to do so. But let's just say the answer to it, to link with it, wouldn't be no.
I think Ian and I get where you're going with that, but I appreciate you not spoiling it for the listeners that, listen back that aren't live. But if you are live right now, feel free to share your predictions in the comment section. We don't have a code or a link set up yet for the predictions contest, but like I said earlier, you're all fighting for my championship. I'm the face that runs the place. Right. Good luck to you. But Steve, I love the idea that you and NXT were talking about on your channel, the custom belt, and the Ice Pop thing makes so much sense. You have Prime on the emblems there, on the side plates. It would just be perfection. And I think that's the direction they are going here at Crown Jewel. Rey Mysterio is one of those guys that really doesn't need titles anymore. He has accomplished everything in professional wrestling. I think he's been a serviceable champion, but like you said, I do see a certain someone facing off against Logan Paul when he does inevitably win this United States Championship in Saudi Arabia. So for me, I'm going to have to agree with you here, Steve. I'm going with Logan Paul to become the new United States champion. Ian, what do you have to say about this one?
There's not much different on my side. I'm going with Logan Paul, but it's a different championship. They will redesign it, but they're going to bring back the Internet Championship from Zack Ryder. That would be perfect. I'm just saying.
Ooh, could you imagine that feud? Cardona and Logan Paul for the Internet Championship?
Who knows? But also, too, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a turn on Rey Mysterio from Santos Escobar during this match, and it just cost him the title. Oh. Imagine the amount of heat that he would get. I mean, it's just early. That would be my only issue is it's early. There'd be a lot to be told from it till the next pay-per-view. And I think that's a WrestleMania match. So then again, it's probably a slow burn, like you said. But if they made that turn and he comes down to the ramp or down to the ring, costs him the match, and you give a title to Logan Paul, no one likes this guy.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens if Logan Paul, does win that championship. Because like you said, Steve, he's not really a full-timer. Sure, he's been showing up for a lot of the big shows, but I feel like if he does win, we probably will be seeing him weekly on SmackDown. I think that's what the brand needs, no?
I mean, it's what we could do with. And like you said there, the heel heat Logan Paul would get having that championship. It's kind of like whoever wins the title off of him gets more over as a result. Perhaps maybe becomes more of a megastar. At the same time there, we have to see how it will play out. But yeah, I would hope he would stick around. We are getting into the business end, though. You say WrestleMania is not that far away. We have the Royal Rumble. We have Elimination Chamber in Australia. So there are shows coming up, Survivor Series as well. Maybe Logan Paul will be around more frequently.
Well, the thing is too with Logan Paul, he's been away just because of that boxing match. He's been doing a ton of training. Now since that's out, it's probably going to be another year till he has another boxing match, which is about a 3-month build in training. So I want to hopefully say that he'll be around for a little while, and I think he could be a fighting champion. Well, he won't be a fighting champion, but we'll see him every week.
An active champion.
Active,
yeah,
yes.
I think is so what Steve was saying earlier about him holding it to WrestleMania could be a possibility.
Correct,
But
yes.
I guess we'll find out. Watch, Rey Mysterio will win since everybody's picking Logan Paul to win, and we're just going to get caught off guard. But let's move on over to a matchup that I'm having trouble deciding who is going to win, and unfortunately, I get to go first, I think, for this one. It is for the Women's Championship, Io Sky, the champion, taking on a returning Bianca Belair. And we've talked about the comparison of Bianca Belair to John Cena in the past, and that's what worries me about this match, because you put Bianca Belair into any championship match, she becomes the favorite. She's the EST for a reason. It's hard for me to sit here and confidently say Io Sky is going to retain, but I think I'm going to. I still think there's more, story to develop between Bayley and Io. I think when Io does eventually lose that women's title, it is going to be because of Bayley. I just don't think it's going to happen here this Saturday. I'd like to see Io get a lengthier reign. Asuka, she didn't get that reign. I think Io deserves that. This is her first reign. Let's put her over, get a couple defenses, and who better to get a defense over than the EST of WWE? So I'm going to go with Io Sky to retain her title here, Ian. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a just returning Bianca Belair. Just this past Friday, she returned. So it's hard. I at the beginning when Io won the title, I kind of felt like she was kind of a fill-in, and she kind of won it unexpectedly. But I really do think she's earned her stripes. There's been a lot of support where I didn't see a lot of support for Io Sky in the first place. I mean, it was mainly NXT fans that knew her back then. That was the full support for Io Sky. But I think she's earned her stripes. And like you said, I develop her a little bit more. Maybe there's something with the faction that could play a role into losing
War
the
Games
title.
match with Damage Control coming up, potentially?
Could be a thing. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go with Io Sky to retain. Don't know who's going to beat her, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's some options. Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Bianca being one of them as well. But Steve, this one's pretty difficult to predict, I would say. Where are you leaning in this one?
I will be joining you guys and say Io Sky. You mentioned those two words once again. War Games, of course, it has to be done with a British accent, doesn't it? But at the same time, we look and see with Io's run so far. She's beat Asuka, she's beat Charlotte Flair. The only one to beat now is Bianca Belair, and you set then the War Games match. The only thing I feel is that maybe it won't be 5-on-5 for the women this year. I could see maybe a 4-on-4. I'm still wondering who would join Damage Control. Jade Cargill could be a name that could do so, for example. But I would keep an eye out for Kairi Sane to be on the babyface team, to be alongside of Asuka, Kabuki Warrior Reunion. If I remember rightly, I say with that, Kairi Sane, when she was out of WWE during the pandemic, the person that wrote her out was Bayley. So that could be the feud that she could come back into. So for me, again, the heels, I think, need to go over. So I think Io Sky retains.
You're connecting a lot of dots here. I appreciate that. Sometimes I forget these things. We watch so much wrestling every single week. It's very easy to forget stuff like that. But something I definitely didn't forget about is, Dakota Kai's injury, but her history with Tegan Nox. What if Tegan Nox gets involved on the babyface side of things as well, and you heat her up before War Games, and then you have that history between those two inside of the War Games structure? I think that's another interesting piece that could be in this hypothetical War Games match that we're talking about. But regardless, we are all going with Io Sky to retain her title here, which may surprise a lot of people, because I'm sure if you looked at the betting odds, it could be a 50-50 toss-up. And speaking of 50-50 toss-ups, I think this match is one of those as well. This is a very strong card in my opinion, and you got the GOAT himself, John Cena, taking on Solo Sikoa. And Ian, you are the lucky one that gets to go first.
This is tough. So my first thought is obviously John Cena is getting to that point where he might be reaching retirement. What a better way? I mean, we all know the formula. You have an incredible career, and you start putting people over at the end of your career. And I think that's exactly where this is heading. Solo Sikoa has never really had that big win over an established superstar that everybody knows. So there's no better way to get some momentum to maybe inevitably go after Roman for Solo Sikoa. Because obviously we've seen some backstage talk with Paul Heyman and little tiny hints that there might be some feuding there and a little bit of building for Solo through Paul Heyman. So I'm going to go with the Solo Sikoa upset here. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was a squash.
Oh, similar to his match with Theory?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting, Ian. So Ian's siding with the bloodline here. Steve, who are you siding with in this one?
I've got to say that Ian's observations are on the money in a way, because like if you want Solo Sikoa to get to the next level, he needs to get a big marquee win. John Cena is the perfect guy to do that at this point in his career. I think Solo's cooled off in the last few months. I don't think Solo is as hot as he was, say, I go around Money in the Bank time, you know, when Roman would sort of bump into him, and then it's like, well, not got a problem with you.
He was scared of Solo.
He was scared of Solo, but Jimmy and Jay, he'd go all in on those two and give them hell. But since Roman's took that break this time, Solo really has called off with it. It feels like it's harmed Solo this time. So it would be a great thing for Solo to do so. And the mention of John Cena, that storyline writes itself then. Can I still do it? He's already started talking about the R word, retirement. You could build that to a WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40 feels like a perfect time to finish it off if you're going to continue the acting. So in a way, Ian, what you're saying makes perfect sense and a lot more narrative for storyline going forward in WWE. However, I can't see John Cena losing because it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years. And the last time he won, I believe, was... Now, someone's told me this, so I don't know. I've not checked out myself, but apparently it's Super Showdown 2018. The last singles match John Cena won, which is over 5 years ago. And that was in Saudi Arabia as well. I believe it was against Triple H. I believe. I don't know for sure. So if John Cena is going to still stick around and win, continue on and wants to go for one more push, one more run, I could see that he could win this match. And it would be a feel-good factor for the Saudi crowd because they were the place where he last won a match.
A little counter. Sorry, guys. Just a little counter.
Go for it.
You bringing up that fact of he hasn't won since 2018 in a singles match speaks a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's still John Cena. I didn't know that. No, there's probably not a lot of people that know that. He's still John Cena. He's still a force. And we're still thinking this is a 50-50 shot. If he lost back in 2018, I mean, that's a long time ago. We just forgot. But go ahead, Gags. I built a little bit.
No, I am conflicted as probably most people are in this one. And, for different reasons. John Cena's my GOAT, always will be. I picked him to win against Theory at WrestleMania. Obviously, that didn't happen. But Solo Sikoa needs something. Steve talked about it. The last couple months, he's kind of cooled down a little bit. And, Cena got a lot of crap maybe in the middle part of his career or in his prime that he didn't put over talent. He didn't elevate the next generation of superstars. Well, everybody can shut the hell up now because he's been doing that, like we said, for the past 4 or 5 years. Sure, it's not a full-time gig, but he's coming in and he's putting people over. So it would make a lot of sense for Solo to win here, especially because I think there is a chance that we talked about it, that Roman and Solo, there's a little bit of animosity between those two. You could tell Roman is intimidated by Solo Sikoa. So what if that is a match in the future? What if Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa is a thing at Survivor Series or at the Royal Rumble? I could totally see it. But it's John Cena. It's Saudi Arabia. These shows are kind of, a glorified house show. Of course, the last couple crown jewels have been very strong, and it has, fit with the storylines going on in WWE. I still think that's going to be the case here, but I think John Cena is still going to come out on top. You talked about him still talking about, do I have it anymore? Can I still go? I think he gets back on track. John Cena has to get back on track. He's the GOAT for a reason. So I want Solo to win. Long story short, want Solo. Heads picking John Cena. It's tough.
I like the fact you guys both brought up that Solo's been really quiet, and I think that's intentional. I think that's been very intentional, and I think it's kind of like putting a muzzle on a dog, and that's from Roman. I mean, Roman's been shutting him down anytime he heats up a little bit. Yeah, the big dog. Anytime he heats up, he's like, all right, relax. I mean, and Paul Heyman, too, has been doing the same exact thing, telling him to relax, don't need to do anything. So I think that's kind of what this is building to, and at some point, he's going to snap. I think
so you think it's just kind of paused right now, the Solo and Roman stuff.
Right.
So you're going with Solo Sikoa, Ian, and
Yes.
Steve and I are going with GOAT John Cena. This next matchup, I'm personally not, looking forward to it, but I'm sure it'll be something. We got Mommy Rhea Ripley, the champion, defending her title in a fatal 5-way against Nia Jax, Raquel, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler. Steve, let me ask you before you give your pick. Who do you think actually is the biggest threat if Rhea Ripley were to lose her title here?
Biggest threat for me would be Nia Jax.
Ian, would you agree with that?
Yes and no. Her current situation, her current backstory, no. Inevitably, maybe. I like the whole idea with the bloodline, maybe tying her into that, but I don't know. I just don't see it fitting right now.
Yeah, this match is, there's no disrespect to the 4 women that are competing against Rhea Ripley. I can't take any of them seriously right now. I don't know if you agree with me here, Steve, but the floor is yours. You can give me your prediction for this one.
So, I mean, looking at the story, Rhea's been dominating the division. She's been putting people out as well. Obviously, Liv Morgan, probably the most high-profile one. But, I mean, obviously, Rhea was beating Raquel Rodriguez. That was the last we seen when Nia Jax made the return. And Nia's the one that's been looking to take out the division since. And she's the one that sort of created where Zoe Stark's got involved in this. Shayna Baszler's been involved in this. Raquel's wanted her as well. And they're all sort of fighting that position to get the championship off Mami, who, let's be fair, has been so dominant. The only way now to make the match believable that she could drop a championship is they put it in a fatal 5-way where she's not going to be involved in the decision. And I think that's sort of the big question of this match, is because other Judgment Day members recently have been losing championships. Mummy's the one that's the consistent. She's the one that doesn't lose the championship. However, this is the one match where you could turn around and say, do we want Rhea to have a year, 18-month reign as champion, or do we want to break up a little bit like we've done with the other Judgment Day members, drop the championship, win it back at a later time, move into WrestleMania season? I don't think that's going to happen, although I think it's a possibility it could happen. I'm going to say that Mummy will retain. I think the long-term, or say short-term direction of the Survivor Series is Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax is going to do the dirty work, and I think Rhea is going to benefit and get the pinfall, getting Nia out of the ring. I think Raquel is the one that eats the pinfall. That way, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler still can remain contenders going for that title at a later date.
Okay, I see what you're saying here, but I'm going to slightly differ. I'm going to agree with you on the pick. I'm going with Rhea Ripley to retain, but I actually think Nia Jax is the one she's going to pin. Can you see her hitting the Riptide on Nia Jax? That would be one hell of a sight to see. I think they need to squash that. Nia is, the biggest threat in the women's division. I think Rhea just has to prove that Mommy's on top, So take out the biggest threat, pin her, and then the other 3 are still contenders, kind of like what you were saying, Steve. That way they're not involved in the pinfall here. So I'm going with Rhea Ripley to retain. Like I said, not that excited for this one, but, you got to get Mommy on the card, right, Ian?
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be kind of one of those feel-good wins or feel-good matches. I mean, there's not a lot of people that hate Rhea Ripley. She's supposed to be a heel. That's not what she is. And it's kind of like the old MJF thing. They're a dick, but we still love them. And
She's our bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rhea, I didn't mean to call you that. I know you're in my profile picture. I don't want to start any heat.
No, I mean, I don't really have much else to add. Like I said, with Nia Jax, I don't hate... Obviously, with her past work with injuring people, let's not do that this match, please. There's 4 other girls in this match. Please don't hurt any of them. It's just, there's not a lot of backstory. It just kind of feels like they threw a bunch of girls in there into a match and just said, go at it. And I think it only comes out with Rhea Ripley on top.
Yeah, I think that's the only option here. I'd be very, very shocked if they took the title off of Rhea. I just don't think there's been a strong enough build for any of the other competitors in this match. Maybe other than Nia Jax, but We have 2 more matches to talk about, and they're for the world title. This one is another one that flip a coin, heads or tails. I don't know who I'm going to pick, but I guess I have to go first, I think, for this one. Great. Fuck, guys. I don't know. I'm the one that structures the outline here. I could have saved this for last, but I decided not to. But, yeah, looking at this one on paper, I think my first thought is Drew McIntyre. I think Drew needs this more than Seth needs it. We've talked about how we're a little fatigued with the current character of Seth Rollins on this podcast. So giving the title to Drew McIntyre just makes a lot of sense. But there was a match that happens earlier in the night, Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest, and I have a feeling that now, if not now, then when is Damian Priest going to get involved? Is he going to cash it in to make it a triple threat? I'm not quite sure. My bet originally was that Drew McIntyre was going to become the world champion. I even tweeted it out on Monday. I said, I think Drew is going to win. I'm changing my mind. I'm going with Seth Rollins to retain, Drew McIntyre after the match, because he's kind of been a tweener as of late, just loses his mind and snaps and hits a claymore on Seth Rollins after Seth retains, setting up the inevitable cash-in of Mr. Money in the Bank Damian Priest. So I'm going with Seth to retain in this match, Drew McIntyre to turn heel, and then we have a new World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. That is my final prediction. A little bit of a fantasy book there, but it's something I definitely want to see happen. Ian, you get to follow that.
The worst part about that is I liked everything that you said. That's now I'm confused.
Good, because I'm the champ.
There's a lot to be said about this. I mean, obviously you could write Seth off TV for a little while, give him a break. He's been going at it for a while. Ever since his character has been formed, he's been on TV almost every single week and a fighting champion. So there's always room for him to lose. I think he's due to lose, and I've been one of the not pioneers, but one of the I don't know, flag holders, I guess it would be. I'm tired of Seth Rollins' character. I think it is time for him to change it up a little bit and maybe just take a break, come back as a heel, do his heel work that he usually does. Drew McIntyre. I wish I had a quarter for every single time we talked about if Drew doesn't win here, then when will he win anything? Mm-hmm. I mean, especially if he loses and there's no cash in, like you said. I think it could be saved with the cash in, and he does snap. He does officially snap and turn heel. Then there's something there, which I genuinely do think he needs. His babyface run during quarantine was perfect for the time.
It's what we needed. Yep.
It's exactly what we needed. Just not now. It's not clicking anymore. He's trying to do the same thing that we've already seen. What is it? What benefit would it have putting another title on him with this babyface character? But yeah, I don't know what I'm picking still. So
you got to give us something. I know it's a hard one to pick, but we're just talking about these two specifically. You don't have to predict a cash-in.
Okay, I'll be really basic. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre wins here, hoping that there's a heel character afterwards and there's some moving afterwards.
Well, let me add this to what you're predicting here. If Drew does win, maybe that's how he snaps, because he gets cashed in on. Like, holy shit, my new moment in front of the crowd. I never had this moment. It happened in front of nobody. Now I get my moment, and it is ruined by Damian Priest. And then we see the real Scottish psychopath. I could see that being an option.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You're welcome. I'll just book everything for you guys. Before you go, Steve, let's say hello to Tino. It's Tino's time. He said, "What's up, guys?" Tino, thanks for stopping by. Tino, of course, has made multiple appearances on Steve's channel as well, so make sure you check out Tino's channel. But Steve, we have said a lot about this match, and I think you are going to add to it, because I think this is an interesting one here for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, I mean, I won't do all the backstory stuff because we'll be here all night. Obviously, I think it's been the best build of all the matches we've had for this show. I love both ideas that have been suggested there, with potential cash-ins as well. I have predicted one of those, and I said earlier in this video about a cash-in we'll talk about later on. I predicted what Kyle said. I predicted that Seth would win, Drew would perhaps lose his mind after the match, and then we would get the cash in from Damian Priest. Because the reason why I think it goes that way of the two is because for Drew to go full on heel at the moment, although that just been said a minute ago, actually would work quite well. I actually think that'd be a really fun idea. I think Drew losing would upset him more because he would have to look in the mirror and say, someone else didn't do it. As Seth said, I was the better man. You can't blame anybody else this time. It's you that's actually faced you were not good enough. That way, then you say, right, okay, Drew snaps, and then we get the cash in from Damian Priest on Seth Rollins. And I think that's the way I think it will happen. Because when as well, this is the detail I was going to say, and I almost forgot there for a second. You go back to the start of the story. Drew's not doing things that don't benefit him anymore when it comes to other baby faces. It was helping all baby faces, getting involved in their business. His body got beat up, he got hurt, and he said he's going to stop doing that. We've seen it with Main Event Jay. The New Day were a prime example as well.
Riddle.
Now, yeah, exactly. So, all those people, he didn't help them, but he helped Seth when this match was first made because it benefited him. He stopped Damian Priest from cashing in. He threw the briefcase further down the aisle so it couldn't happen. But once he's lost this match, he's at the back of the line. There was no reason to protect Seth anymore, and he'll let that cash in happen. An additional nugget I just want to throw in as well is that, and I forgot to mention this on my own podcast, which is a bit annoying, but I'll mention it here.
Thanks for the free content.
Appreciate that.
We'll clip this.
What's to say that the Priest match happens before this match? What if this match opens the show, Priest cashes in, he thinks, brilliant, I'm a world heavyweight champion, goes to the back, is quite happy to celebrate, and Adam Pearce says, well, as you're here and you've got a match, why don't you defend that championship against Cody Rhodes?
Wow. That would be insane. I didn't even consider that, Ian. I mean, we are fantasy booking here, people. This is something.
We are deep in the trenches right now.
But that's what's so good about this match. Steve talked about it. The story, the backstory, the history with these two has just been so good that there's so many avenues they can take here, especially with Damian Priest holding that briefcase.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said. And now I'm just confused. I don't know what I'm going to do. When that spreadsheet hits my phone and I'm looking at it, I'm just going to click randomly. I'm lost.
I'm really curious on what the people watching live right now think. So please let us know down in the comments who's winning this match or who is walking away from Crown Jewel, the World Heavyweight Champion, because we really do have 3 or 4 options, because you brought up the Cody Rhodes situation, which definitely makes sense. Will it happen? Probably not, but hey, we will find out. I like the idea. So let's move on. There's been enough talk. I think it's time for the main event, and that is going to be, of course, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, defending his title against L.A. Knight. Yeah, we all are very excited for this one. L.A. Knight is the People's Champion. I just saw a report. He's the #1 merch seller for the month of October, so there's obviously people that want him to win this title. But Ian, is that going to happen here at Crown Jewel, in your opinion?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I just don't see a way for it to happen. I mean, even if he does and he loses the title a month later or something at Survivor Series, then it takes away from whoever beats Roman. If that even happens, we don't even know if Roman will lose at WrestleMania, lose that title. But if it does, that takes away from that loss. He has to be undefeated until WrestleMania. I mean, it's been built this way this whole entire time, and obviously LA Knight's push has been last second. It's been shooting from the hip, see what can happen. And LA Knight has shown very much that he is a main event contender. He could talk the talk. I don't think he walks the walk Saturday, sadly. But I think if he does lose, I tweeted this out earlier. I think this is a perfect moment for some ref bump, and he actually pins Roman for 3 count. Doesn't happen. Maybe even a 5
Wait. A ref bump in a Roman Reigns match? You're crazy.
Maybe some outside interference. It might get a little frisky. I don't know.
You wild man.
But yeah, I just don't see any way for this. It's not going to be beneficial to what's been carrying this company for about a month or a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
There's just no reason for LA Knight to win. He has time. He'll bounce back. Roman wins.
That's fair. Tino answering for the last match, he said, I think Seth wins in a possible cash in. And for this one, he said, sadly, Roman is winning and no, not any interference. Tino, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think there probably will be interference. I think that's a lock here in the main event. But, we talk about this meteoric rise of LA Knight. A lot of us, including myself, Steve, didn't really expect him to maybe get a shot this early, but here it is happening in early November. One, are you surprised that LA Knight got this title shot so soon? And then go into the match and let me know who you're going with here.
Yeah, I was. I was surprised it was a bit soon. For me, I just think, is it too soon? The worry is, what is the aftermath of this? Because if LA Knight loses clean, if he loses quickly, there is a chance that maybe he's not that guy that's going to be the top merch seller next month, because fans and people might start giving up on the guy because, well, he was that next one, like Sami Zayn was at the start of the year. All these hot people that were, getting their win streaks, their merch stuff up, and then all of a sudden they go against Roman, loss, back down the ladder they go. I think that Ian booked it perfectly. That's how you do it. You do the Blood Force Trauma after a ref bump. He's technically got the free. Saudi's going to go crazy because they're thinking LA Knight's going to do this. Out comes the interference. Whoever it is, maybe it's a Jimmy Uso, maybe it's a Solo Sikoa, make sure that Roman retains this championship, and then Roman gets through to another day. And LA Knight, as we said earlier, could perhaps maybe have a good performance through the Royal Rumble, perhaps maybe get himself for Elimination Chamber, and can become a United States champion at WrestleMania 40, taking it from Logan Paul.
Okay, my brain's starting to turn here. What if they do introduce a new member of the Bloodline? What if there's an Ava Raine? We saw, conversation that Paul Heyman had in NXT. I believe, I don't know their names off the top of my head, maybe one of you guys do, that the MLW tag team of the Fatus have now been released from MLW or don't have a contract with them anymore. What if they're introduced here? Do you think there's a possibility we could see a new addition to the Bloodline here at Crown Jewel?
I actually don't hate that because, Jimmy's been kind of the forbidden child, and maybe that dives into it, and it's Roman picks this new guy, whoever it is, to drive away Jimmy, because obviously he shows disdain towards his cousin, but that's something. That is something. I don't hate that.
Ava Raine would make a lot of sense, but I just don't know if she's ready for that moment quite yet, because this is a big match, and it's even bigger for LA Knight. Listen, most of us know he's not going to win. Spoiler alert, Roman Reigns is going to retain his title here. But if he has a good showing, this is a test for LA Knight. He needs to show out here, because what if this match isn't good? Then they're going to be like, oh shit, yeah, he's getting good reactions. Yeah, he's selling merch, but, that didn't feel like a big fight feel, and he gets put right back down the card. So that's what I'm worried about here for LA Knight. I think he's very capable of living up to the big time moment. I think he has earned this moment, but there is no shot in hell that he is defeating Roman Reigns. Like you guys said, we've all said it, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes or The Rock is probably going to be happening at WrestleMania 40. LA Knight is still going to be okay, I believe, after this, because there is ways where even if you lose, you could still get over. And I think LA Knight is going to lose and still be over after this. But the real question I have for you guys, Ian, I'll go to you first on this one. Where does LA Knight go after this? Do you think he does fall back and maybe go to the U.S. title scene, or is he still a main eventer in your eyes?
I think it really comes down to who walks away with the World Heavyweight Championship. Or is that's what it's called, correct? That's
you're talking about Seth's title.
Seth's title. I think it all really comes down to that. I genuinely I keep defending it. Everyone keeps saying he might be a one-hit wonder. LA Knight has hit a stride so early into him being in the main event, or like in the main card, that he's not a one-hit wonder. There's something different. He could talk his way out of anything. And obviously we know charisma could carry you a long way. I'll keep it going. Like I do every single week, I'll bring up Busted Open. Bubba Ray Dudley says he's not that great of a wrestler. He was able to talk. That's the only reason he's still wrestling. And that's exactly what LA Knight is trying to do. He's got the longevity. I mean, he is a good wrestler, not extraordinary. He's not like
similar
a
to the
Ricochet.
Miz.
Correct, exactly. That's why the Miz is still around. That's why he's still relevant. Well, not at the moment, just with the story.
Oh, he's relevant. I mean, he's now in the IC title scene with Gunther.
He doesn't get TV time though. That's the issue.
Yeah,
but
that's
no,
fair.
No. I genuinely I think LA Knight is too big for that U.S. title. I mean, especially if Rey Mysterio retains. That just feels like another mid-card championship match, in my opinion. That's two faces going at each other for a title, for a mid-card title.
I don't think he's too big for the United States title. And Steve, I'm going to pull up this comment from Tino. I'll let you respond first. He goes, I know you guys talked about the match, but do you think we see Paul versus LA Knight for the U.S. title? You talked about it earlier. Who could face Logan Paul at WrestleMania? Was LA Knight the guy you were thinking of?
Yeah, he was the guy indeed. Absolutely. I know it's annoying. I'm going to do it every time. Yeah, it makes the most sense for me because Logan Paul would be disposable heel outside attraction. LA Knight is the guy that they want to get to the next level. And where I don't think he's too big for the United States Championship, all the comparisons he's made to superstars of the past, for example, Steve Austin, The Rock. We take Steve Austin, won King of the Ring back in 1996, which was very prestigious at that time. He didn't win his championship until WrestleMania in 1998. So it was like a nearly 2-year plan to get him from the King of the Ring. He won the Intercontinental Championship on the build between that in 1997. So it's kind of like if LA Knight's day is not today, he could go through and, like you say, talk his way through to still get through to the next level, get through a good, say, Final Four appearance in the Rumble, be a contender in the Chamber, get to WrestleMania, beat Logan Paul. He can then be United States champion up until, say, Money in the Bank season, win Money in the Bank next year. All of a sudden, he's back in the top player again, once again, and then perhaps this time he wins the championship.
I like it. I like it a lot. And that's who I thought inevitably would face Logan Paul is LA Knight if Logan Paul were to defeat Rey Mysterio. So I'm in agreement with you there. I think a Logan Paul versus LA Knight feud is perfect. Logan Paul is an outsider, and I think LA Knight is that perfect definition of a professional wrestler. It's just going to be pro wrestler versus YouTube, self-made sensation. It's going to be good stuff. You can have him on the podcast, do stuff like that. LA Knight is going to be fine. Moral of the story. It's just what's going to be next for Roman Reigns. Do we see Roman Reigns at Survivor Series? Because I have seen reports that he might not be there. Do you guys think that is a mistake to leave Roman Reigns off the card?
I don't think it is. I mean, in the fact that it doesn't ruin what he has going for him. I mean, obviously he doesn't wrestle a lot. We know that. I mean, from a character standpoint, Roman Reigns could just not wrestle for the next year. That match, when he does defend the title, will still mean that much, maybe even more, because there's more numbers of days tallied on to his total. So he's in a great spot. He could go home and do nothing. As far as
don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. We want to see the Tribal Chief a little. Don't tell him that. All right, guys. Well, there is the card for Crown Jewel. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be a very solid show, but we got to transition on over to the MVM of OTM. And I tell you what, it might have been the earlier start time, but we didn't get as much interaction as we typically do. But that doesn't matter because I do believe there is somebody out there that earned this title. The champion himself did not make an appearance. We had a no-show from Kine. You hate to see it because we have a new MVM of OTM. It is Tino's time. Ladies and gentlemen, take it in, man. How about it?
It's one more title than I hold, so.
Yeah, I tell you what, I got 2 titles. You don't see them right now, so it's still not as much as me. But Tino came in late, provided some quality comments, and asked a few questions. So, Tino, thanks for stopping by and winning the MVM here for episode 168. We got a woo in the chat. Speaking of woo, Steve, I might as well get your thoughts on AEW signing Ric Flair to a multi-year deal. What do you think of all that?
Oh dear. First off, First, I'll quickly just say congratulations to Tino. It doesn't matter what time zone we're in. Tino's always aware of it. It's Tino's time after all.
Yeah.
But so congratulations to him. But yeah, when it comes to Ric Flair, yeah, I mean, obviously the Woo energy drink, I think, is the main basis of why this has been done. So it's going to be the official drink of AEW. So I suppose if I do attend All In next year at Wembley, then perhaps maybe I can experiment this myself. Perhaps maybe when I'm there. But I would say that for me, it's cool from a legacy factor because it's probably going to be his last contract. So in that way, when you see like legends like Sting, Ric Flair, the way that they finish their wrestling career is AEW. They're tied with AEW and a part of their legacy remains there. So from that point, I get it. But from an other side perspective, I don't need to see Ric Flair on my screen anymore. I certainly don't need to see a match. You know, there is that worry that you sit and go, Sting's last match at Revolution, you know, the match that made Sting back in the 80s or early 90s, I believe it was 88, was against Ric Flair. The first match of Nitro that Sting had was against Ric Flair. The last Nitro was them two against one another. You wouldn't be surprised with the TNT factor or TBS factor that they did that match one more time, if so, and that Tony Khan could promote it as Ric Flair's last match. But I really don't want to see it. It's not for me. And yeah, I mean, there are many other factors I could go into of why I don't think it's a good idea, but it is what it is. But maybe he could manage Andrade. That could be something. Ooh. And I mean, that could be fun. And the only thing I could say is a long-term to the future idea is whatever Charlotte Flair contract ever came up, do you reckon that she'd be inclined to maybe jump the other side, knowing her dad is there and her husband is there? Is there something like that could perhaps maybe make that work?
Maybe. I mean, never say never, right? We've seen Edge make the jump and all these names that... Mark Henry, I never thought he would take a role with AEW. I thought he was a WWE lifer. And hey, Paul White, Big Show, who we saw last night, is apparently going to be wrestling here in 2023. So another thing nobody asked for. So, I mean, no disrespect. Ric Flair, Big Show, both legends. But man, I don't know. I agree with you, Steve. I don't know how I feel about it. Tino said Sting versus Flair. Oh, no. Don't put that in the universe. I tell you what, I was there for Ric Flair's last match, and I don't want to see another Ric Flair match. Just, Ian, we don't need to see it, right?
No. The only way I could see this happening, like if Flair is in a match, it's tag team, obviously, or in a 3-man, something to that accord. Maybe it turns out that Flair's going to turn heel. Maybe it's something like that. And I know his son has been doing a little bit of wrestling as well. Maybe that's trying to bring his son into the wrestling world. Who knows? Sting with Darby, Flair with his son. Again, who knows? I don't want to see him wrestle at all. If he talks in the background, sure. The managerial position, and maybe even just a coach in the background. But I don't think Ric Flair is going to be a coach anytime soon.
I guess we'll find out, though, gentlemen. Tino asks, is this year 2006? Yeah, it might as well be. But I think that's about all we got for you guys this week. Steve, thanks once again for joining us. I'd like to give you the floor to plug whatever you like. I know you have some prediction videos out there, so the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, first off, big thank you guys for having me on again. It's been a pleasure to be a part of OTM once again. And hey, my middle name's Mark, so it seems it's quite fitting that I join you guys. So, you know, I like to think that I definitely am a Mark when it comes to OTM. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube at SCW the Wrestling Channel. As I say, I like to talk all things WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Sometimes I'll go into the outer regions of New Japan and other companies out there. If there's a topic to talk about, we'll talk about it. It's predictions, reviews, retros, Q&As, live streams, shorts, lists, tier lists. Everything. Yeah, if there's a reason to do a video, you usually will find it on the channel in some format. Quizzes as well. So yeah, feel free to check out the channel, maybe check out a video. And like I say, you can see Kyle on some videos already. Ian, we need to organize something. And certainly I have a special plan for the Royal Rumble next year, something I've not been able to had the privilege to do for a couple of years. So lads, I'll be in touch. And Tino, I know is watching. I'll be in touch.
I like the sound of that, but before we go, don't forget this week and weekend at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. If you use code what, Ian?
Crown.
Good job. You did it this time.
I did
I'm
it.
proud of you. Use code CROWN this week and you will save 10% off your order. And if they want to follow the Main Event Wrestling Network, Ian, where would they do so?
They would go to @mainevent _ net. Yep, there it is. And again, we didn't plug it this time, but the Main Event Network, we are just a conglomerate of a bunch of wrestling podcasts. Obviously, we just got a new blogger, video creator, video producer. If you want to help edit the videos that we make, it's anything. You don't even have to be an on-screen personnel. Please reach out. You could be a person that draws art. Who knows? It could be anything. Reach out. We would love to have you. Not a lot of love is given back to the small community and wrestling content creators, and that's kind of what we want to do. It's people coming together to enjoy and love wrestling.
And that's what we're doing here with Steve. You know, I met Steve on the internet, like a year or two ago? Right?
Yeah, I've got been probably a viewer now for probably nearly 2 years for when I first saw your content. And yeah, it's funny how that can work out because like you say, you end up doing live streams together, you end up talking about professional wrestling, and it's just it's a crazy old world, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, only in professional wrestling can you have people from across the other side of the globe communicating with you and just talking for hours. It's insane. Tina said, have a nice night, guys. Great show. Maybe the four of us can do something sometime. Tino, I think we can definitely arrange something like that. But appreciate you, Tino, for stopping by and everybody else who did live. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.